week left of spring training, and Chase Utley is back in camp. With 8 games left, there are a number of questions still surrounding the Phillies roster. And one of the big questions is, when will number 26 be back? Who's on the mound today for the Phillies against the Baltimore Orioles? Well, it's none other than Roy Halladay, who will make another spring training start, coming off his best spring training start earlier this week against the same Baltimore Orioles. That's right, the O's are up from Sarasota in front of a sold-out crowd here at Bright House Fields. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. We saw Chase Utley just a moment ago. We're hopefully going to hear from Chase Utley in just a little bit. He's one of the big storylines coming into today's ball game against the Orioles. The other one is Roy Halladay will make another start.
Yeah, as you said, Tom, he was really good his last time out. The game was played down in Sarasota. He almost went out there. It seemed like he wanted to show that there's nothing wrong with him after some reports had come out about his velocity and some other things. He can throw away a lot of these numbers. The one thing that's very, very consistent with the Roy Halladay that everybody knows in Major League Baseball, just one walk, 15 strikeouts. All the problems that have been had around here this spring, he's the least of them.
All right, the other storyline today, there are a couple more. Jim Thome will make a start at first base for the Phillies as he tries to get himself back into defensive shape.
Well, they have no idea whether or not he can play in the major leagues right now at first base and get some at-bats that would obviously help him as a pinch hitter. They've used him on the backfields a little bit. You see right here he played in a game against other Phillies. Routine play there, a little 3-1. Here he is covering first base on a ground ball to the infield. But pretty soon the game is going to speed up 100%. It's really fast in the major league. So today he's going to play in a major league game. At one time, Thomes was a really good major league first baseman, but he hasn't played it a whole lot for a long time. He's been a designated hitter. He hasn't played in a game since back in 2007 at first base. Now, one thing about the great game of baseball I've always felt is you can learn something every day if you want to. Well, how about a guy like Jim Thome?
I think I've been very blessed and fortunate to be around great leaders, and maybe I can take some of the things that have been taught to me and teach it and talk baseball and talk hitting and talk just about anything that, say, a young guy or anybody on the club really wants to sit down and have a talk with about. You know, and let's not forget, I think they can help me as well. You know, you always, no matter how long you play the game, I think you can learn from everyone. You can learn, I mean, there's things that Utley, there's things that Jimmy, I think there's things that Cliff Lee, we can all take from each other and build and try to get to the ultimate goal, and that's a world championship. And this is a very special place, and hopefully we can accomplish that.
One of the big reasons why Jim Thome came back to Philadelphia to win a world championship. The same thought for Roy Halladay, who'll be opposed this afternoon by Brian Mattis, making his second start against the Phillies this spring. All right, another storyline. They're all over the place. Placido Polanco will make his return to the starting lineup this afternoon. We'll get to the lineups in the first pitch against the Orioles when we return. Field today. Of course, a sold-out crowd getting a chance to settle in to watch Roy Halladay pitch yet another ball game. Jim Thome making the start over at first base. Placido Polanco has returned to the starting lineup. And let's check in with Greg Murphy because it's another story that we've talked about today. Murph, what do you got, buddy?
Well, that's right, Tom. You asked right at the beginning of the broadcast, when will number 26 be back? Well, he's back, obviously, here in Clearwater, but he will not be back for opening day. He just talked with reporters. Now, it was his right knee a year ago. This year, it is his left knee. But I would characterize Chase Utley as very optimistic. And he did say to us, he does expect to be back this year, and he does expect to contribute at some point this season. So very optimistic, has some new exercises that he's working on in order to help that knee feel a little bit better. So he says he's taking it slow, not sure when he'll be back, but he does expect to be back at some point that season. So that certainly, guys, is good news for baseball fans in Philadelphia.
Absolutely, Murph. And, you know, it's good because we don't know when it will be that he'll be back, and we'll talk to Chase coming up in just a little bit here on our telecast. But it's great to hear that he's optimistic for the long term.
Yeah, this time last year you didn't know if he was going to play at all during the season, and he played a lot. So to hear him talk that way does make you feel a lot better.
Well, sold-out crowd as we get set to get things going. Xavier Avery is going to lead things off for the Orioles, and he takes a strike, so we're underway, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Avery this spring 8 for 26 with 6 runs batted in for the Orioles. Baltimore comes into this ball game with a record of 9-9-4 so far this spring. Doc's numbers this spring: 1-1, a 6.59 earned run average, and he pitched exceptionally well his last time out against the Orioles. Halladay in his last outing was throwing his fastball at 92, 93 miles per hour, which was a great sign. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He got hurt in a curveball in the first inning in that game. That was about it. He really had good stuff evidently in that game.
Well, there you see the scouting report on Halladay. He will be the opening day starter for the Phillies. And there's a line drive. Nice play by Freddie Galvis on one hot ball. There's no question that Freddie Galvis can play defensively at second base. And offensively, he's had himself a good spring.
Well, you just don't teach what he just did here. The hands are so good. All he can do is dive at this ball, and then if it goes in the glove, you have soft hands, it has a chance to stay. If you got rock hands, it pops out. And in that case, this kid has very soft hands.
So 1 away here in the first, and a little smile from Freddie Galvis. And Robert Andino chops one over the head of Placido Polanco. Not much you can do about that. Cleveland gets to it quickly, and that's going to hold Robert Andino to a single. Let's take a look at the rest of the Orioles lineup for this afternoon, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Nick Johnson's about to step in. Chris Davis, the first baseman, bats cleanup. Nolan REIMOLD is the left fielder for the Orioles, followed by Wilson Betemit. At the bottom third, Bearer, Paulino, and Manny Machado, one of their top prospects. And here is Nick Johnson. Johnson so far this spring hitting .324. No homers, but he's not a home run hitter. And 3 runs batted in. He does have 4 doubles. Try to play in the major leagues for the first time since 2010.
Always been a gaps hitter and an opposite field hitter. And the Phillies with John Mayberry, who's the center fielder today, playing him over there towards left center field, give him the gap in right center.
Foul ball off the mask of Ruiz, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Carlos is catching here today for Doc. The Phillies have a split squad game. And the rest of the players are up in Lakeland taking on the Tigers and Justin Verlander. Scott Ellerton is starting that ball game for the Phillies. I think Ruiz is okay. I think he's worried more about his mask.
Well, they want to make sure that it's intact before they put that baby on there again and have it happen again.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. Runner goes. Halladay steps off. He heard Rollins yell, "Step off," and now they've got Andino in a rundown. That's a good test for Jim Thome right out of the chute. This one's going a little longer than they would like to Carlos Ruiz. Applies the tag for the putout.
Well, that's a good job by the Phillies there. When a guy leaves early like that, a pitcher becomes a 5th infielder, and all he has to do is step off. Once he steps off, do anything he wants. If he flinches, then it's a balk, and the guy can go to second base. Right there, they yelled at him going. and he steps off, and then they get in a rundown. Now, as Tom said, it probably went a little longer than you'd like to see it go. Normally, the catcher does not get involved in a rundown between first and second. In this case, it didn't matter that home plate was unoccupied. Good job by Jimmy there, as Roy kind of almost threw that thing away, and then they finally completed.
To the count, nasty pitch to Johnson. We mentioned that Jim Thome getting a chance to mix it up right away. And I guess you can call a rundown, kind of mixing it up.
Well, yeah, you got to handle the ball a couple times. Make sure you don't hit the runner with your throw.
It was interesting talking to Jim about playing first base. You know, one of the aspects of the game that's tough is even in between pitches, getting himself ready to field the ball, moving around as the pitch comes in. And then, of course, running over to cover first base on a play. He said all of those things are things that I haven't done since I was with the White Sox.
Yeah, when you're playing a lot, it's all instinct. Right now, he's learning some things. And as we mentioned, when the game started home or in the major leagues, he's kind of faster than he is right now.
Well, nothing is better than a Roy Halladay strikeout. That was a beautiful pitch, a cutter on the outside part of the plate. So Thome's first half inning is in the books defensively. The same for Doc Halladay, who picks up his strikeout to get Nick Johnson. We go to the bottom of the first. Well, Jim Thome said in our open that you can always learn something. And there he is chatting with Jimmy Rollins about that rundown, which led to the second out for the Baltimore Orioles. And Thome even mentioned Jimmy Rollins, that he could learn from Jimmy Rollins. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Top three, Rollins, Polanco, and Thome. Then Mayberry's the cleanup hitter, followed by Montañez, Ruiz. Cleveland is over from the minor league camp. He's in left field today. Freddie Galvis, of course, batting eighth. And then Roy Halladay getting a chance to bat this afternoon. He'll bat ninth. And they'll face Brian Mattis, a left-hander who's having himself a renaissance of a spring after going 1-9 last year with a 10.69 earned run average.
Some more hits than innings pitched with good walk strikeout ratio. And he pitched a very good game over here a few weeks ago. Scouting report on him. All kinds of pitches, and he was a high overall pick, as you see, fourth in the nation by Baltimore. As Tom mentioned, had a tough year last year. Guy that when he first came up looked like he had a chance to really be good.
2 years ago, he won 10 ball games for the Orioles, but as we mentioned last year, just 1-9. 1-0 the count to Rollins, and he hits that one on his thumbs and fouls it away.
The thing about rundown plays, and Jimmy and maybe Jim Thome and Jimmy are talking about that, is you always want to get that guy as quick as you can, obviously, but you want to run him back from whence he started, because if you do something wrong, you don't want him to get an extra base out of it.
The ball's hitting the air to left field pretty deep, but playable for REIMOLD. It got turned around somewhat. And there's one away.
Wind turned around last night. Had a little cold front come through with some rain, and the wind is out of the northwest today, which normally means it feels cold. It's just nice, really nice. Hardly a cloud in the sky if there are any. See the wind blowing from left to right for the first time in a long time here, because it's been so warm and humid and windy from the southwest. So a different pattern for the hitters.
So here's Placido Polanco, who's missed the last several days because of a sprain to his ring finger on his left hand. Took batting practice the last couple of days. And he's out on the first pitch as Avery runs it down. 2 outs here in the first. Now Jim Thome will get a chance to bat. Folks always love seeing THOME hit, but I think a lot of the folks that have tickets for this afternoon's ball game, they realize that this is kind of a neat day because he's playing the field for at least 4 innings today. And he takes low and away, 1-0. THOME 6 for 22 this spring, overall hitting .273.
A guy like Roy Halladay pitching too, he could get some action.
That is true. THOME's still looking for his first spring training home run. He came close in the first week or so. He's hit a few to that spot where Andino's playing. Tried to check. He went around 1-2.
Yeah, they're doing the overshift on him. You would think many teams will employ. There it is.
Ice cold, ice cold. Who's ready?
And THOME lifts it in the air, right field, playable for Bearer. At a few steps from the track, he makes the catch, so it turns out to be an easy first inning for Brian Mattis. 1-2-3 go the Phillies and Jim THOME. On to the second here at Bright House Field. Orioles nothing, Phillies nothing. Chris Davis leads it off for the Orioles in a scoreless ball game against Doc Halladay, and the first pitch is taken for strike 1. And joining us down on the field is Chase Utley, who a little while ago met with the media. Chase, it's great to see you back at camp. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, Tom. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Good.
People aren't as concerned about me, though, Chase.
No, I understand. No, I'm feeling pretty good. I was out of town for a few days, got some different ideas on how to treat my issues, and I think we're onto something. I'm happy with my visit to Arizona, and I think some good things will come from it.
I saw where you said that you even feel better already. Not 100%, obviously, but you feel better even already after the visit to Arizona.
Right, I do. I definitely do. We've changed some things up, some things I'm going to continue to do, but it's been 3 or 4 days now that I've put this new program together, and I've already seen some results. Obviously not perfect, but I think we're going to move in the right direction.
Hey, when you came to camp this year, you said the right knee felt pretty good. You had done some things in the offseason, a different program. Did that knee feel a whole lot better when you got here this season as compared to last year?
My right knee feels great. That's the problem I had last year, was with my right knee. And once I was able to get back on the field, it's felt pretty good. This year, right now, it's unfortunately my left knee that's bothering me. But I can say that my right knee feels almost 100%. So I think I did things last year to benefit my knee. Now I'm going to have to do some similar things for my left side. And go from there, but I'm definitely optimistic because I've already made changes with my right one. Now I just have to make some changes to my left.
I know that you had said today that you won't be available for opening day, and you don't want to put any kind of timetable on things. That ball floats out of the yard off the bat of NOLAN REIMOLD. But long term, you seem like you're very optimistic that everything will get back to at least close to where it was before.
I am optimistic. One reason is because I've seen a lot of benefit in my right knee. Again, it's going to take a little time. I don't know when I'll be on the field. Obviously, I want to be on the field right now. Unfortunately, that's not possible. I need to get this right, and I need to nip it in the bud and go from there.
I know we've talked about this before, but you're so competitive in what you do and what you want to do for this team. How difficult is it to sit and not be able to play?
It's not a lot of fun, to be honest with you. But you try to make the most of it. Try to encourage your teammates. Try to be a leader. Try to give some advice when needed. And we have a good squad. Obviously, it's not ideal that I'm not on the field right now, but you know, it seems like Freddie's playing a lot of second base these days, and he's a great player, young guy, obviously tremendous defensive player, and a good baseball guy. He knows where to position himself, and he wants to learn. And I'm excited to work with him a little bit.
Have you gotten a little bit better at backing off some, because you play at such a tempo and you play the game so hard, the way everybody loves to watch somebody play baseball? Is it hard for you to take a step back?
It's hard not to be on the field. I think once I put everything in order and my knees feel better, I can play the way I normally play. I'll have to make some adjustments on how I prepare to play, but once I'm on the field, I think it'll be okay.
Now, Chase, what will your next couple of days be like? Just getting yourself acclimated more to the program that you're putting together?
Exactly. You know, that's exactly what it is. It's trying to make progressions every single day. Trying to build strength, trying to loosen up certain areas, and just try to move in the right direction at all times. You don't really want to take too many steps back. Occasionally it may be okay, but you want to keep pushing forward.
Well, Chase, we appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us, and really best of luck, and we hope to see you back on the field very soon, but it's nice to see you back in camp.
Thanks, guys. Good talking.
Thanks, Hut.
All right, so Chase Utley joining us here, and you know, saying a lot of good things.
Yeah.
I mean, considering after he had left the other day, there was obviously there's a lot of speculation about what his year could be like. The fact that it's the other knee, not the one that bothered him last year, but it seems like he, long term, is very optimistic that he can nip this in the bud, and I think Charlie, you know, is hopeful for that too.
Well, the way he is, and Chase is a very private person, the way he likes to keep things quiet and keep the attention off him, even though it's hard because he's such a big part of this team. You know, there was some speculation maybe he's going to announce his retirement. So that was certainly good to not hear that today.
Well, with a run across the plate and a runner in scoring position, here's Ronnie Paulino. Paulino is just really getting started with the Orioles. He had some visa issues which kept him out of spring training for the first couple weeks. And the count is 1-1 to Ronnie Paulino.
He's like Barajas. It doesn't matter what uni he puts on, he gets hits off the Phillies. It's amazing. Had him in here. We had him. Phillies had him here in spring training 1 year. It just didn't work out. And everywhere he's gone, now he's with Buck Showalter's Orioles, he hits them. And he's tough to defense because he hits them all over the place.
See his career numbers against the Phillies, 44 games against them. And he rips that one fair down the left field line. There's no third base umpire. It's Dan Iasonia, the home plate umpire, who made the call. And it's an RBI single for Paulino as Benavides scores. And it's a 2-0 Orioles lead.
Barely got that out. There he goes again. And you rarely see him pull a ball down the third baseline like that. He usually hits it in the alleys. That ball came right into the middle of the plate. I don't know whether Roy Halladay's trying to throw a sinker there, that he got into a bad location, but it was up.
Manny Machado scalds one to straightaway center field, but Mayberry's there and makes the catch, so the inning comes to a close. But the Orioles do score 2 runs, including 1 and a home run by Nolan REIMOLD. They leave 1. We go to the bottom of the second here at Bright House Field. Phillies home opener on April 9th might be sold out, but that doesn't mean you'll miss out on opening week. Tickets are available for games during the opening homestand, including great promotions, great rivals, like the Thursday matchup on the 12th against the Marlins, which is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night, and Friday the 13th, you can kick off the first weekend of the season against the New York Mets. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets today. John Mayberry Jr. will lead it off. Phillies down 2-0. Roy Halladay through 2 innings has thrown 30 pitches. He gave up a home run to Nolan Reimold and then an RBI double off the bat of Ronnie Paulino. So now it'll be Mayberry, Montañez, and Carlos Ruiz for the Phillies against Brian Mattis. And Mayberry takes upstairs. Mayberry this spring hitting .236 with no home runs. Well, the home runs the Phillies have hit have come from the minor leaguers playing later on in the game. There's a towering fly ball down the left field line. It's playable for the moment. And it is playable for Machado. And there's one away.
Here's an example of the wind coming from the different direction for the first time in a long time. That blew the ball back fair. That thing was way out of play. Nice job down there moving the chair by the Hooters ball girl. She has no idea where the ball is, and that's understandable when it goes up against that high sky. So she just tried to move the chair a little bit. It's right where the chair was is where Machado caught the ball.
So one away. Here is Luis Montañez. Montañez has had himself a good spring. And because of it, he's put himself into conversation for one of the last outfield spots. Overall hitting .361 with 6 runs batted in. Used to play for these Orioles. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Watching Carlos Ruiz down there in the on-deck circle talking to Rich Tube, and he keeps making a motion with his hand to indicate that Halladay's pitches were up in that inning. You know, he just like it's high. And that's, you know, we're doing the thing with Chase and really didn't see a whole lot of that inning, but the little bit we did see, it looked like his pitches were up in that inning. And no matter how good you are, you'll get hurt when the ball's up in the zone.
Well, Carlos has taken a little extra time to get to the plate. Here's the home run that Halladay gave up to Reimold.
Oh yeah. Up and right down the middle. And the wind's blowing out to right field, so that took it right out of here.
Yeah, and some days that might be just a catch in the alleyway toward the fence.
Well, it would have been most of the games here this spring. But with the wind blowing the different direction today, you're going to see you know, a different game.
Carlos is 13 for 27 this spring. He's hitting .481. 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Ooh, that goes flying into the stands.
Okay.
Nice grab by that young lady right there. That a girl. I think she did grab it too. They may have hit the seat just to her right.
Thankfully, they had a long time to see that one coming. And, you know, attempt to protect themselves. See, this is a long bat toss by Carlos Ruiz, and he had some loft on it, so they could see it coming to either get out of the way or defend yourself a little bit. It's not like those ones that break in half and the barrel comes flying in a hurry.
She slid just to her left. Checking out her hand, make sure she's okay. I think she's all right. 2-2 the count to Ruiz. A lot of times people come to the game hoping for a baseball. And she got a bat that's not even broken. And Ruiz serves that toward the middle. Another hit for Carlos. That's his 14th hit of the spring. And the first hit of the day for the Phils.
Carlos Ruiz, a nice piece of hitting. It looked like a sinker down and away. That's a great way to hit a sinker. Right back through the middle.
Well, now Brent Cleveland will be the hitter, the 28-year-old. Played 32 games last year with the Reading Phillies combined for 3 different teams, including an independent team in Wichita, Kansas. He had 19 home runs. For the Reading Phillies, he had 336 with 6 home runs, and he takes strike one.
About the split squad game, so Victorino and Pence, guys like that, are at Lakeland today. You have to, you know, try to send at least 4 regulars. That's the rule they like to try and go by during spring training. So those guys went with a split squad.
Cleveland has been to the major leagues. In fact, he's a former second-round pick of the Detroit Tigers, and he made it to the big leagues in 2006. But he's trying to get himself back in an organization and up in their system somewhere. And a swing and a miss, and he's down on strikes, so the side is retired. First strikeout for Mattis. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left for the Phillies. We've completed 2. Bat in hand. We're ready to go to the 3rd here at Bright House Field. After the game, John Clark and Mike Missinelli give you a season outlook for this year's Phillies. Get a breakdown of the team with analysis, interviews, and what to look for as we get closer to opening day. Phillies High Hopes, live from Sugar House Casino, is coming up next. You know, this past Friday, Eric Kratz hit one of the longer home runs this spring. I mean, this one was a bomb. Towering shot off the roof of the Tiki Bar, the Frenchie's Tiki Bar. And look at Vince Giannini, the general manager of PHL 17. He caught the ball off the carom of the roof and then celebrated with everybody else.
It was a lunging grab, too. That was out. We mentioned at the time that the fan that caught that ball made a heck of a play. Did not know it was Vince.
Here's Avery, who grounded out his first time up on a very good play by Freddie Galvis. It's a nice job, Vince. Now that's a keeper. There we go.
Watch this. I mean, that's outstanding.
Originally, it looked like he was grabbing for some for something to drink or some fries or something like that. Instead, he was getting himself a better position to grab that home run ball.
Something was coming off that roof. That was a good play. Here's Roy with a strikeout here. Looked like his location's much better on that one. It is. And probably outside, but he'll take that.
Well, what a way as Halladay picks up his 3rd strikeout. Robert Andino is the hitter. He singled his first time up, and he takes a breaking ball down and away. Looks like Andino's going to be the starting second baseman for the Orioles. Brian Roberts continues to make his way back from concussions. Andino, who's a super utility guy, last year hit .263 with 5 home runs. Totally different player than when he was with the Florida Marlins. I guess with that, I'd say he's a better player. He's kind of figured some things out.
Yeah, well, he was, you know, at the back of the bench when he was with Florida.
Takes a strike at the knees. It's 3-1.
He's a local guy from down in that area, too. So, you know, a lot of people were rooting for him to be able to succeed with the Marlins.
And there's ball 4, so Halladay issues a walk. It's only the 2nd walk he's issued this spring. And Nick Johnson will be the hitter. Well, the Orioles certainly have an uphill battle in the American League East. They think they're going to be better offensively. Last year, though, they were 28 games off the pace behind the Yankees and the Rays. But they did end the Red Sox season in Baltimore and knocked them out of the playoffs.
Was that Andino got the hit?
I think it was, yeah. There's Nick Johnson who takes outside.
And when you look at the standings there, Tom, as you were just talking about from last year, none of those teams ahead of them took a step backwards. If anything, they may have gotten better, because certainly the Blue Jays are a team that people are looking at saying, wow, the Rays, really good team. Boston, you don't know. You know, they're going to be good. Did they take a step backwards? I don't know. We're going to find out. And the Yankees, good team. So you got 4 teams in front of you that have no signs of coming back towards you.
I agree with that. I think the Red Sox, out of the 4, are the ones that have taken the, have come closest to taking a step back.
Yeah, we'll see.
They have 3 very good starters at the top of their rotation, but the next 2 spots are kind of under question as Nick Johnson takes low.
Well, they have a new closer. Their bullpen is different. Whether or not, they had a lot of offensive problems last year. They didn't hit. So they think they're going to hit more. We'll find out. Won't be long.
Johnson struck out looking his first time up, and Halladay, I think, wanted that pitch.
Yeah, he threw a little backdoor curveball that he'd like to had called a strike. Nick Johnson's always had a great eye. A guy that ran a lot of deep counts.
Runner goes. Pitch is taken for a strike. The throw by Ruiz is in time to get Andino. Carlos has also thrown very well this spring.
Second time that Andino, last time he left early, they got him in a rundown. This time he runs 3-1. A lot of times you run 3-2 with 1 out. They run 3-1 here. Carlos Ruiz really helps his pitchers in a lot of ways.
2 gone. 3-2 the count to Nick Johnson. And there's ball 4, so second straight walk for Halladay. The Orioles have added some new players coming into the spring, which is not uncommon. Betemit could be their starting third baseman, depending on what they do with Mark Reynolds. In the bullpen, they picked up Darren O'Day, Matt Lindstrom, and then Jason Hamels over from the Rockies. And of course, Endy Chavez, the former Phil, has put together a pretty nice career as an extra outfielder last year with the Rangers. Chris Davis is one of the 3 strikeout victims this afternoon for Halladay. Soft fly ball to left. Cleveland's coming in. He's there, and he makes the catch. So Halladay gets out of the 3rd. He walks a couple, but is able to rely on Carlos Ruiz to take care of one of those walks. Middle of the 3rd. It's the Orioles 2, the Phillies nothing. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by Chevrolet. See your local Chevy dealer. Visit ChevyDealer.com. Well, last of the 3rd, Phillies down 2-0. And Freddie Galvis will lead it off. Brian Mattis so far has thrown 21 pitches. And Freddie Galvis so far 13 for 55 this spring. Galvis last year combined hit 278. He lost this one to right field, not deep. Andino going out. And it's a base hit for Galvis. That's his 14th hit of this spring.
Roy Halladay has really improved as a bunter. He can come up here and work on it now. Last year, he first came over for the American League. He couldn't get a bunt down. Last year, he was in, what, 14, 15, something like that.
16 sacrifice bunts.
Yeah. Well, 14, 15.
Well, now Paulino's going to lay down some signs. Halladay overall hit 122 last year with no home runs. Betemit is up on the grass at third.
That's what they did right there. That's what, you know, you can do that. You can do that when you're behind the plate with fingers, or you can do the signs out in front of the plate if you want to put on some kind of a play. Normally, you don't see this going on with a runner at first. It's usually, you know, first or third or something like that. And I guess they got some things they're going to try and work on with communication here. And the third baseman has to get involved too to find out what's going on.
I mentioned that Paulino had visa problems, so he didn't come until midway through the spring. You see Buck Showalter enters the ball game, or enters the season with 985 career wins.
Normally in these situations, just sacrifice.
And Halladay bunts it foul. And it's no balls and one strike. There's Juan Samuel laying down the signs.
The reason I say that is, as a third baseman, you're not worried about third base being left unoccupied. If you come busting in there, and then you know, it's not your ball, the pitcher hits it, or there's confusion between you and the pitcher, you're not so worried about it. Well, first and second, totally different, and that's why they put on different plays.
And he pulls the bat back, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Paulino again is still trying to figure it out.
What are they doing? I mean, they did put something on there where the first baseman drifted a little bit, and then they threw behind the runner trying to pick him off.
And he bunts it foul, and it's 1-2.
He's having trouble getting the bat out in front of the plate. You know, that, of course, would come from the manager. You know, the bunt plays.
There's Charlie, who's letting Juan know what he wants Roy Halladay to do. Now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'm not sure if Doc will try to sacrifice here or not. We'll see. Nope. And he slices it foul down the right field line.
Oh, what a catch. That guy reached up with his left hand, and that was a bullet coming at him.
In the sun field.
What a play that was. You should take him back. Papelbon fan.
There's the bat. Lady with the bat. She's content with that. And Halladay is down on strike. So 1 away here in the third. Second strikeout for Mattis. And here comes Jimmy Rollins.
Shortstop Jimmy Rollins.
Rollins flied to left his last time up. Ronnie Paulino's not going to have to worry about whether he's going to sacrifice here. Rollins 11 hits this spring, and he takes a breaking ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Jimmy's had a lot of at-bats so far this spring. Way out in front of another breaking ball. It's 1-1.
A lot of weak swings at this guy today, like they're not picking him up. I don't know whether he's funky or whether he hides the ball. You know, there's nothing, when you watch Mattis, there's nothing out there that's overpowering or nasty. But maybe he's very deceptive. Because there have been, think how many weak swings you've seen.
He pitched really well earlier this spring here at Bright House Field. It was kind of the same thing. In fact, coming into that ball game, the Orioles were wondering, well, could he be in the rotation? That ball's ripped to left field. That'll be in for a base hit. cut off by REIMOLD. Galvi's heading to third. The throw goes to second, and Rollins will go back to first.
Yeah, that's good base running. A lot of guys don't go first and third on a ball hit that hard. Now Jimmy did hit it to the left fielder, REIMOLD's right side, which is what Freddie read, and was able to go first and third. You watch him; he's not a real fast runner, but he really knows how to run the bases. Jimmy Rollins smokes this thing. Now watch, he's got to go to his right a little bit, but he came behind it, got behind the ball. That will stop a lot of guys when they see that. But in Galvis' case, he read that right off the bat. Nice job.
Well, now Polanco, who flied to center. Check swing, foul ball. It's 0-1.
I love to watch guys that can run the bases, because to run the bases, there's instinct involved, but you have to want to do it, and you have to concentrate and be in the game the whole time, and don't drift as you're going into it. If you drift into second and you're shutting it down, you can't get to third on that play.
I think that's the part of the game that's been exciting to watch for Galvis, that he understands so much of the, I don't want to say the basic stuff, but even the beyond basic stuff.
Tom, everything happens so fast when they're out there. They only really have a split second or a second at times to decide whether you're going to do something or not. And if the moment's passed, it's too late. And, he has those instincts. It's very obvious.
1 ball, 1 strike the count, and a throw over to first.
It's like what he did the other day with that line drive to left field, and he didn't get caught off third. Went back and tagged up. It's hard to teach that.
Base hit. Phillies will be on the board. RBI single for Polanco in his return. Rollins goes to second. Galvis scores. It's a 2-1 game.
We're talking about they weren't getting good swings. Well, boy, Jimmy and Placido Polanco hit balls right on the nose. There's Galvis. Now watch. This is really great to watch. Good walking lead right there. Instinctively sees the ball. No hesitation. He had the whole thing sized up as he was getting to second, and never thought about shutting it down the way you see other guys going into second base and shut it down and give up going to third.
Well, here's THOME. He flied to right his first time up, and he stalls this one. Straightaway center field. Avery going back. It's over his head, and it takes a 1-hop off the wall. 2 runs are going to score. Polanco right on the heels of Rollins, and the Phillies take the lead on the 2-run double by Jim THOME. Well, whether he could play first once or twice a week still remains to be seen, but he certainly can still hit.
Yeah, that's a home run a lot of days in this ballpark. But we mentioned the wind knocking it down from left to right today, and it really knocked this one down. But he jumped in. All of a sudden, they're getting really good swings off Mattis. Fastball right down the middle. Center fielder Nady there, Avery, he thought that thing was out of the ballpark for a while. He really did.
The way he reacted, I thought it was too.
Well, it was, Tom. The wind knocked it down.
Here's John Mayberry, who popped out his first time up to foul territory. He takes a breaking ball for a strike.
He was kind of turning around to see what fan was going to catch that.
Mentioned that Shane Victorino is up in Lakeland, the Phillies split squad. That's why Mayberry's playing center field today. Got that one in his hands. And Dino, the second baseman, is there. 2 outs. So 2 away. And Tome's at second for Montañez.
A decision for Juan Samuel, coaching third base right now. Even though there's 2 outs, and Thome will get a much better jump. Still don't want to run him into any kind of contact, especially in an exhibition game. So, this will be one of those things we're going to make sure.
Montañez grounded out to third his first time up. He takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes.
So you think, well, why wouldn't you run Thome into contact? He can plaster anybody, but you worry about his back.
Oh, yeah. 3-1 the count. Montañez is so different than Pierre and Posednik, but he's had himself a good spring.
Yeah.
And is still around and still in the conversation.
Really good defensively, too.
Great arm.
Chokes up, tries to put the ball in play. Not a power hitter necessarily. But we saw him, have an 8-10 pitch at bat the other day, just by what he's doing right now, getting off the end of the bat and just trying to make contact.
And ball 4. So the Phillies have first and second for Ruiz.
This is probably what drives him crazy about Mattis. The way he was sailing along and really pitching well, and then all of a sudden he's gotten the ball in the middle of the plate.
Rick Adair is the pitching coach for the Orioles, and he's heading out to the mound to talk to Mattis. Well, the Cubs are coming to town Friday, April 27th at 7:05 for a 4-game series. Sunday the 29th is the Citizens Bank Fanatics birthday, a free Fanatic Bank for fans 14 and under. Then Monday the 30th is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night at the ballpark. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets today.
Catcher Carlos Ruiz.
Here's Carlos Ruiz, who singled his first time up. How about that start? 500 this spring for Carlos.
Too many hits. Got to leave him here.
One ball and 1 strike to count.
With that wind blowing in the way that it is today, the outfielders are really cheating in right now. Very shallow. That'd be another reason why you might have to stop him at third. See how strong that wind is.
It's been changing throughout the day, too.
Yeah, well, it's northwest. It's just so totally different than what we've had for 3 weeks almost.
Roller to shortstop, and Machado's there. He'll go to short way to retire Montañez, but the Phillies take the lead. They get an RBI single by Placido Polanco, and then Jim Thome came up and he mashes one to center field. It's a 2-run double that turns around this deficit and gives the Phils a 3-2 lead as we go to the 4th. Why not try something more fun to kick off your morning? Get all your weather, traffic, trends, and headlines at a different kind of news show. It's fun, informative, and will get you going every day. Catch Eye Opener weekday mornings from 6 to 8 here on PHL 17. Phillies are on top 3-2 as we head to the top of the 4th. Nolan REIMOLD will lead it off. REIMOLD, Betemit, and Bearer against Roy Halladay, who did give up a home run to REIMOLD his last time up. Gary Matthews joins us here in the booth. And it's no balls and 2 strikes to REIMOLD. He'll be behind the plate and out of play. Ruiz will give it a peek, but it's back in the seats.
Halladay was talking about how he really wanted to just kind of work on not just his pitches, but also work on feeling good. You know, a lot of times guys will get hit hard. He's not happy about the earned run average, but realizing that arm strength is what counts there.
Well, and that pitch right there, Sarge, is all about, you know, Halladay's work. I mean, that pitch was beautifully thrown. I mean, it was in the right place. It looked like REIMOLD had given up on it.
Yeah, and again, though, this is what the spring training is for. Even the veteran players need to be able to go through it just to hit their spots, making sure that they can elevate the ball, making sure they have the right spin on the ball, and when once they happens, they're ready to go.
Well, he is certainly ready to go as Wilson Bedemy waves at the 0-1 pitch, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Has great arm motion on just about all of his pitches. One of the reasons that it makes it so difficult to hit him.
Well, he talked about as you get older, it takes a little longer to get, you know, the velocity where you want it to be and everything like that. And I guess it's like that even for a position player, where as you get older, it takes a little longer sometimes to get your timing down, your bat speed down, all those other things.
Yeah, and mainly, though, you want to come through spring training where you don't have any of those nagging type of injuries that keep you from going out and doing the work that you need to do to get to that particular point.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. As Doc even said a couple starts ago, he's going to use every inning, every pitch this spring training to get himself ready. And he's already mixed up the pitches he's thrown in this inning. I mean, he gets Bedemy on that curveball right there, and it's the 2nd straight strikeout, and the movement has been, you know, as good as we've seen.
Yeah, well, you're right about that. Movement is great, and that's what the pitchers want. You see how that ball just really kind of floats in there and disappears? Well, the hitter thinking that might be a fastball. He's trying to get that bat head out in front.
Well, the batter is Scott Barrer. He grounded out to short his first time up. He's 0 for 1. And that one's off the plate. It's no balls and 2 strikes. So Halladay's come out this inning, and he's just throwing strikes.
Well, you know, too, when he gets ahead of the hitters, it's so difficult to hit any pitcher. When you're talking about the great pitchers, it becomes almost sometimes impossible. Didn't have a good swing at that at all.
Well, that's because of the way the ball was moving from Doc. It's a 1-2-3 inning. His first clean 1-2-3 inning of the day. Nice way to take us to the bottom of the 4th here in Clearwater. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Quality Plus Ford stores and by W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Last of the 4th, Phillies on top 3-2. It'll be the bottom of the order. Roy Halladay had his easiest inning of the day, a 1-2-3 top of the 4th. And man, did he look comfortable.
Yep.
Cleveland, Galvis, and Halladay to face Brian Mattis. Cleveland struck out his first time up. 28 years old. He has 119 career home runs in the minor leagues and 3 major league home runs under his belt. Made his major league debut with the Detroit Tigers in a game in which Placido Polanco was playing for the Detroit Tigers.
Well, these are the type of hitters you want to keep out of the air. They're more line drive type of hitters. Gap hitters, meaning hit the ball in left center, right center, as opposed to hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
Roller up the third base line. Betemit hurries the throw in time. 1 away here in the 4th. Well, subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today and get over 150 select spring training games with no blackouts and every regular season game live or on demand on your favorite devices. Visit Phillies.com for details. Here's Freddie Galvis, who singled and scored his first time up. That was last inning. A little looper to right. We'll take that.
Yeah. The more hits he gets, the more relaxed he's going to be. You can tell he feels great in the field.
Hit a home run yesterday.
Yeah.
And that one's got home run distance, and it's foul.
Yeah, they'll hit those type of home runs, you know, that are right down the line. Doesn't matter, however, if you can get him out, you get him out. But you don't want him swinging for the fences. Want him to try and keep the ball in the middle of the field and preferably on the ground, line drives. Doesn't have the power to consistently hit the ball out.
It remains 1-2 to Galvis.
Keep getting hits, he's going to feel that he belongs here.
I think the fact that he's been around this long makes him feel more and more comfortable about being part of this.
Well, the more at bats he gets, I mean, he does feel comfortable. It doesn't matter in the field. But up at that plate, that's where you want to be able to try to at least get a few hits.
We were talking before about the other parts of the game. The defense, we've watched him. We know he can play defense. The base running, that's the thing that stands out, is that his understanding of the game, the instinctive part of the game, that's already there. That doesn't really need to be taught.
Well, and then once you've learned that, it does. It makes it easy for you to play the game.
Another foul ball, and it remains 1-2.
But he's in that mold like a lot of young players that you're close to the plate, they're going to be swinging the bat. The more games you play, the more you'll start to take certain pitches.
2-2 the count to Freddie.
Well, they're still going to be ready for this season no matter who's starting or not. They're anxious to get started. Oh, boy. Vicious line drive that goes into the stands.
Well, thank goodness there's the netting there, because that ball was smoked off the front.
You almost just don't have time to move. That's why you really want to pay attention when you're on the lines.
Off the end of the bat, a spinner out toward right field, his second hit of the day. Well, they're both going to look pretty sharp in the box score tomorrow, particularly because the last time he looped one, he scored a run. And that's going to be his 15th hit this spring.
Well, like I said, the more hits you get, the easier it's going to be for you. Take a look at his swing there. That's a little easier, more compact swing in the zone. You see, he didn't try and elevate the ball, kept it right on the line, didn't hit it very hard. Got great results, however.
Well, Halladay struck out his last time up. He tried to sacrifice. He's 1 for 3 this spring. And he bunts this one back toward the mound. Mattis has it. He's going to go to second. He had a long throw. but he still was able to get Galvis. And there are 2 outs. So Halladay is aboard with 2 away.
You know, and keep in mind, too, pitchers haven't had a lot of time in developing their bunting against live pitching. This ball there, you want up the line at first base, take a look at it, see exactly where it came back. Lucky you didn't get a double play. Has a long gait, long arms.
Yeah.
Throwing that ball over to second base.
Rollins is 1 for 2. He takes low. 1 ball, no strikes. Phillies with 6 hits already today.
Orioles not holding Doc on. Not a threat to steal.
Foul ball right past the first base bag. Nice play and a very happy young lady after the toss into the stands.
Yeah, use that glove too. We haven't seen that very much this spring.
Sarge just mentioning Halladay's not being held on. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rollins. And a little out in front. That ball is around the second base bag. Andino comes in and the side is retired. The Phillies do get a base runner. They leave 1 here in the 4th. We're through our first 4. Roy Halladay will go back to work when we return for the 5th. Hello, everybody. When you're back in Philadelphia, don't forget Monday, May 14th, when the Phillies take on the Houston Astros. It's Teva Respiratory Asthma Awareness Night, a free Phillies Liberty Bell cap for all fans. Sarge was sporting that cap earlier today. Tuesday, the 15th, is the Citizens Bank Business Person Special. It's a 105 first pitch. And after the ball game, it's a Modell Sporting Goods Seniors Stroll the Bases for fans 55 and over. 3-2, Phil's on top. Ronnie Paulino due to lead it off, and Sarge's good friend Bob Dernier is with Greg Murphy. Murph, take it away.
He certainly is, and enjoying himself, I'm sure, at Bright House Field. I've been taking in some of the action this week of the Phils. I wanted to get your thoughts, Bob, for a guy who obviously played a decade in Major League Baseball. Your impressions of these guys as they make their way through spring.
Well, it's my first trip back to Clearwater in March, in the month of March, in a long time. But it's always good to be back here. This is hollow ground to me. Those of us that played here, grew up in the organization. In my case, you know, got to play here 2 different stints. I also finished here. My career ended here. So getting to come back here, you know, it's like we just walk right over there. It's the same turf. I got DNA all over the place.
Absolutely. You could probably tell some stories. You know, this team, you and I were talking yesterday just about this team and how their approach is a little different this year, how they're going to have to go about scoring some runs. And we're seeing a little bit of that today because it's a little bit of a different makeup than it's been in the years past.
Yeah, and you know, in some ways, it doesn't change in that, you know, with Jimmy and Victorino, the guy, Polanco, whoever's at the top, if there's base runners on for guys like THOME, and he demonstrated that today, there's no question missing your whole right side. I mean, it leaves a scab, and you just got to have guys step up, and that's why there is a 40-man roster, and Ruben, I'm sure, is hard at work. So 1 month at a time.
Speaking of hard at work, you're out here watching some baseball, but I know that you've also enjoyed some of the golf in the area with your good friend Sarge in the booth. How's Sarge's game nowadays?
Well, we can skip right by that, probably. He doesn't want me to pick on him, but he has his moments of, you know, he gets a good shot in there every now and then and doesn't give up. So, you know, we don't care, you know, what we shoot. It's more about the camaraderie.
Oh, okay. Sarge, is that true? You don't care what you shoot?
You know what? I really do care. I mean, he's being kind.
He says he really does care, Bob.
You know, I do. I try hard.
You know, I did make a couple birdies the other day.
There you go, guys. Good time having by all, no doubt about it down here.
Well, Bobby's going to keep you accountable there, Sarge.
You know, I knew Murph was going to get that golf in some kind of way. Boy. Oh, but he's a good player. Bobby's a good player.
He was a heck of an outfielder, too.
Winning that gold glove, getting traded over to the Cubs in '84.
And a strike 3 call, so Avery's down looking. Another 1-2-3 inning for Doc. 7 strikeouts through 5. And he picks up back-to-back strikeouts to finish up this 5th inning. Phillies on top by 1. Well, the last 2 innings, Sarge, have been outstanding for Roy Halladay. He's retired the side in order in both of those innings.
Yeah, and he's starting to really come around with his pitches there. That was a home run. And you see where it was. The middle of the plate, those balls usually will be able to hit and get hit hard. He's starting to settle down. Now, see how he's making his pitches right on the outside part of the plate, keeping them over the middle of the plate where guys can hit them. And that's what Roy is all about. He's an intimidator with movement. Doesn't have to knock a guy down and continually throw up and in. He's done a heck of a job here so far, only giving up that, giving up 2 runs, but the 1 home run.
Well, there's his line so far, 7 strikeouts over the first 5 innings. Placido Polanco, the hitter, he takes low. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, interesting, if you're playing against teams in your own division, you're not going to show them your new pitch or pitches that you're working on. You'll actually pitch that against some of the teams that aren't in your division. You know, you don't want to give up any secrets. Different pitchers handle their starts different ways, but they want that to be a surprise to the division that they're pitching in on a pitch that they may not be able to throw over the plate. They practice on it, but they don't want to practice on it on a team that would be in your own division.
Well, Polanco works out a walk. Phillies will face the Orioles this year. It's always a good matchup when these two teams face each other because of the close proximity between the two. Thome doubled home 2 runs his last time up. He's 1 for 2. And he takes a breaking ball inside. 1-0. One ball, 1 strike, the count.
Talked to Jim earlier today, a little bit anxious going and playing first base. Well, he talked about the defense, how strange it is. Once you get out there, Major League Baseball, the game's a lot faster, especially when you haven't played in the field for a number of years. You often wonder how you're able to even play out there. Sometimes the balls are coming so quick on you. So he's going to have to get used to it all over again.
Towering pop-up near third base. Betemit is over and tracks it down for the first out. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Well, and there's so much too that you have to get used to. You know, whether it be covering the bag, the rundown we saw earlier today. You know, all the things that he's kind of put aside over the last few years that he has to get used to again.
Bunt plays, knowing how fast each and every one of the pitchers are. Take a look at Chase Utley there, checking out the game. Along with Charlie Mayberry.
John Mayberry's 0 for 2. Mayberry popped to short, popped to second his last time up.
Looks like Mayberry Jr. is going to be getting a lot of at-bats somewhere. Whether it's in first base, center field, or in left field. He'll be given that opportunity until he proves that he really can't do the job. But with his defense, that's going to allow him to play even more, even though maybe the offense might not be there. You're hoping that it is, of course. But even if it isn't, just because of his defense and the makeup of the team, you would think that he still would be able to get some at-bats.
Do you think it's concerning at all that where his average is right now this spring?
Absolutely. But, you know, again, he knows that he's going to be able to start over. You know, everybody does. So a little bit different for Mayberry. Not trying to make the team this year, just trying to really gain the confidence in order to put up numbers like he needs to.
The ball will be into the Orioles dugout, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mayberry.
You don't want to put added pressure on you and say, well, I need to hit 20, I need to hit 30. You know, all he needs to do is to have really good at-bats, solid at-bats. If he can do that over the course of the year, he'll have the stats that the Phillies will be happy of. You can't start pressing, though. Once you start to press, boy, it's just going to go backwards for him.
2-2 the count.
Remember that Dodger team long ago, they didn't score a lot of runs. They end up winning because of defense and because of pitching. They didn't have a lot of guys being able to hit the ball out of the ballpark at all. They played good defense and they got great pitching, similar to the club that the Phillies have.
Over to third, that could be 2. Betemit got rid of it quickly. The throw is wide, and Mayberry is able to get there. So 2 outs on the 5-4 putout. A fielder's choice for Mayberry. So Mattis will face Luis Montañez. And that may be it for him. Buck Showalter's coming out to the mound, and I think he's already made the signal to the pen. So Mattis has reached his pitch count. We're here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Phillies on top by 1, 3-2 with 2 outs and a runner over at first base. And we've got a pitching change for the Baltimore Orioles. Right-handers coming in for the O's to face Luis Montañez here in the 5th. Pat Neshek is the new pitcher for the Orioles here in the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs. Neshek is on for Brian Mattis. Neshek has pitched in the major leagues before, and he's on to face Montañez, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. And if you didn't remember that Neshek pitched in the major leagues, that kind of delivery may jar your memory. See his numbers this spring. This is his 7th game. 6 strikeouts in 6 innings so far. Pitched for the Twins at one point in the big leagues.
Those pitchers that drop down, you really want to look at that arm slot, see exactly where it's coming from. Quicker you pick up the spin, easier it is to hit those guys. Just can't give up ground. Mr. Tekulve used to pitch kind of the same way, not as herky-jerky, but still coming from underneath, from the side.
I don't know how guys are able to do that, though. I don't know how they're able to control it. I don't know how they're able to put anything on it.
Well, they get used to it from throwing down there. They're able to throw fastballs in, breaking balls.
Get right-handers off balance like that. The first baseman Davis is there, and the side is retired. So Neshek picks up for Mattis, retires the only batter that he faces. Mayberry's left aboard. We've completed 5 with the Phillies enjoying a 1-run lead. Phillies are up by 1, 3-2 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Some of the other starters and other pitchers who are not scheduled to pitch today are heading back to the clubhouse. Some news and notes around Major League Baseball. How about the injuries that have taken place the last couple of days? Ryan Madson, that's That's unfortunate. We'll have a Tommy John surgery. Will miss the entire year. And then Chipper Jones, a half hour before he went out to announce his retirement, he tore the meniscus in his knee.
He can come back from that particular injury, though, this year, for sure.
Well, and then Chris Carpenter will not be around to start the season for the Cardinals. Some think he'll be out for a couple months with a bad back. As the first pitch to Robert Andino is taken up high. It's 1-0.
Now, talked to Dusty earlier today. That was just devastating news for his ball club.
Ground ball to third. Hector Luna just into the ball game. Throws it across the diamond to Tim Kennelly, who's over at first. Kennelly takes over for Jim Thome.
Designated hitter Nick Johnson.
Really counting on Matson to kind of shore up the end of that bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds. Looks like they're going to have to find somebody else.
Here's Nick Johnson, who takes a strike. He's walked and he has struck out. Well, Dusty and Walt Jocketty both said that they have other candidates, like Sean Marshall, they got from the Cubs. But poor Ryan, he settles for a one-year deal instead of signing a long-term deal somewhere else, and now he's going to miss the entire year. And let's face it, next year he may have to be a spring training invitee as he gets himself back into shape to pitch.
Well, that's going to be a tough decision for a general manager simply because he's young enough. There's injuries just like that before that they've come back even stronger with the Tommy John type surgery.
Ruiz will give this a look. He's over toward the coaches. He has room. He bumps into Sam Perlazzo's chair and makes the catch. Utley and Charlie, well, they sat there. They knew he had it the whole way.
Yeah, well, Chase Utley was sitting there, too. Didn't budge, didn't move. Charlie didn't move. Sam getting out of the way. Chase is looking as like he's relaxing, like he's on the beach as he comes over. Ruiz knows he has it all the way. Sam leaving, getting out of the way. Utley looks like he's just taking it easy.
Chris Davis takes a strike. Charlie and Chase not even moving.
Oh, didn't move at all. I mean, most of the time on the pop-ups, you want to get out of there. I mean, you don't want to even think about catching it.
There's a line drive for Davis to center, a base hit. It's the first hit for the Orioles since the second against Halladay. He retired 9 in a row.
Well, that's just knowing where the ball is, Tom, that you don't have to get up.
So 75 pitches for Doc. He may want to pitch in another inning if he gets this out, the last out, fast.
Well, it's that pitch count. It's up to, obviously, to Rich Doobie, not up to the pitcher. If they would have it, they'd be out there pitching even another inning, but they do this for a reason. Nice breaking ball. And that is to build up the arm strength. So they don't want to do it too quickly, and they want to make sure that starting pitchers take their time in getting involved with that.
Close one there. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, others that are scheduled to pitch today for the Phillies include Antonio Bastardo, Jose Contreras, and Jonathan Papelbon. So maybe they will have Doc finish after 6 here on the big field to get others their work.
Good point. And then what he'll do if he feels he still needs to pitch is go in the bullpen and start throwing more pitches to feel the way that he should. Same as a hitter. You don't feel well when you're hitting. You go in and take some extra batting practice after the game. We would do that all the time. Guys that didn't get hits or got hits but didn't feel they hit the ball the way they should would have extra hitting. They don't do that as much anymore. We'd actually bring the cage out, hit right on the field.
Ground ball foul past DeMarlo Hale and Placido Polanco and right off the chair. So now there, it was a good thing the chair stayed.
Well, she knew one thing, though. It had top spin on it, so she did what you do best. Let it hit whatever, and then just pick it up.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Halladay picks up another strikeout. It's his 8th of the day. It may be his final batter. If it is, it's a pretty good way to finish things up. The guy that hit the home run earlier in the game, Halladay's now gotten twice on strikes the last 2 at-bats. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Honda, the really big sales event. Real deals, big inventory, now at your Honda dealer. And by Xfinity, only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies. Phillies up by 1, 3-2. Phillies commit to this ball game with a record of 10, 11, and 2. Roy Halladay through 6. Well, he's turned this into one of those Roy Halladay appearances. 8 strikeouts through 6. He may or may not be done. There's nobody that's loosening up just yet in the bullpen for the Phillies. I think Rich Doobie would like to get somebody up. Jim Thome, his day is done after 4 innings in the field.
Yep.
The big thing will be tomorrow, how he feels tomorrow.
Absolutely. How his legs are going to feel, because it'll be a little bit different. How his back is going to feel being out there. That's why they were taking it so slow and getting him out to first base. Not that he just couldn't go out there. You want to ease yourself back into the field and then swinging the bats, too. So, not bad, but still a work in progress for him in being able to be on the field. Can't judge him until we see some tough plays that will be coming his way.
Well, Jason Burkett, who last year pitched in just 5 games for Norfolk, the AAA affiliate, will start things off. He faces Ruiz, and Ruiz fouls the first pitch down the left field line, and it's 0-1. Well, Jim Thome just finished signing autographs, and now he's settling in with Greg Murphy. Murph?
That's right. I just asked Jim, how'd you feel out there? You said good, excited. It was a lot of fun out there?
A lot of fun, a lot of fun, a lot of adrenaline. It's been a while since I've been out there in this kind of environment, and so much fun, so much hard work, we've put in this spring. Got a lot more to go, but it was good to be out there with the guys, and step one hopefully to where we're trying to get to.
Carlos Ruiz continuing his hot bat, another double as he ends up on second base there. They started to right off with the rundown. I mean, it got you right into things. I guess, if you want to get right into it, why not do it that way?
Well, I think, that's why you work on the fundamentals. We executed it very well. So, again, we got a lot of work left to do. And we'll hopefully accomplish it and get ready and get going here.
So the big question is, do you wait and see how you feel tomorrow before you tell Coach I could do it again?
I've been feeling pretty good. I think what we've been doing, we've been under a good game plan here. We've stuck with the plan, and Charlie's the guy. When he writes my name in there, I'll be ready to go. And we have a very good ball club, and I think. I'm starting to learn my role a little bit here, so hopefully going forward we can learn that and then run with it.
All right, thanks a lot, Jim. Jim Thome playing a little first base today, and he can also hit a little bit, guys. He had the 2-run double as well.
Yeah, he smoked that ball. In fact, he just missed the one before that, too. So that was a good sign. And as Jim said, he'll wait till tomorrow, see how he feels, and Charlie make the decision when he's back in there again.
call that work in progress, meaning that, again, taking the ground balls left to right, charging ground balls, charging butts. So we get a chance to see it. All of that is part of being a good player that will have to be playing every day to get production out of him in that National League.
Cleveland, 1 ball and 2 strikes to him off the Ruiz double. Cleveland is 0 for 2. He struck out. He's grounded out. Phillies up 3-2. They scored their 3 runs in the 3rd. Freddie Galvis waits on deck. Phillies do have warm-up action in their bullpen, so the pitcher spot is due up after Freddie. It's Antonio Bastardo warming up in the pen.
Another one of those little situations where you want to try and hit that ball to the right side. That's where you're trying to get the hit. Therefore, you end up getting Ruiz over to third base.
Well, there you go. Got it over to third base. Got him over to third base on the 4-3 putout.
That's a great job in doing just that. Those are the little things they're going to have to do. They're going to have to kind of give up stats in order to make sure that that's going to happen. Giving yourself up to make sure you get that runner over. Now, Galvis' job is to keep that ball in the middle of the field there. You know, and this is a situation, again, you got to know yourself, but not necessarily. You want to hit that ball there on the ground.
Well, Doc looks like he's getting ready to hit. Even with Bastardo warming up. Galvis has 2 hits today, 2 bloopers to right, and he rolls that one to first, hit too hard and to the wrong spot for Ruiz to try to score. So 2 away.
Yeah. That's when you want that ball in the air. We talk about you didn't want him to hit balls in the air. Well, there's occasions when he's going to have to, especially if it's a sacrifice fly.
So now Doc, 3 RBIs last year in the regular season. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1.
Anytime a pitcher can help himself out, that's like icing on the cake for him. Being able to drive in a run.
Oh, and Bergens has a count, no balls and 2 strikes. Bergen last year pitched 40 games for the Orioles. He was 1-2 with a 5.36 ERA. Bergen's now 28 years old. Former 6th round selection. And he gets Halladay to foul that one off. And he stays alive. It remains 0-2.
Pitchers just have not hit a lot against other pitchers this spring because most of the time Charlie was using the DH to get other hitters ready.
And this is usually the time, though, where the pitchers are hitting more often.
More often, getting their bunts down in different situations. Don't know if they're going to be doing any squeezing at all this year, but
Halladay breaks his bat. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Those are some of the things that Charlie's going to have to, you think about, because it's easier to get a run that way. Red Gross, hitting coach, is getting tired of answering questions on what do you think about the hitting? Are you going to score enough runs? All they need to do is just score enough victories. That'll do it.
Swing and a miss. Halladay's down on strikes. The Phillies leave one over at third, so we've completed 6 full here at Bright House Field. And the Phillies trying to get to the 500 mark in spring training. They lead it by 1 against the Orioles.
at first base today. He's going to obviously DH this year during interleague play. They wanted to play some first base, and he smoked this ball at dead center field with a couple men on. Gave the Phillies a 3-2 lead at the time, and that basically has held up since then. Here is a look at our game summary. See what the Orioles did. They wound up picking up a couple runs in the second inning, and the Phillies answering back with that 3 spot. The big job by Jim Thome. Roy Halladay was up in 1 inning, gave up a couple runs. Since then, he has been dealing.
Well, isn't it what they talk about pitchers is that they have to adjust from pitch to pitch, hitter to hitter? You talk about a guy that's adjusted today. I mean, Halladay begins the 7th year, and this is as if he's pitching in the middle of July. I mean, he gave up the 2 runs in the second, and since that time, he's allowed only 1 hit. I mean, it's been a remarkable turnaround for Halladay as Bettamy takes strike 3. 9 strikeouts for Halladay this afternoon.
Well, we mentioned that you saw Carlos Ruiz down there talking to Rich Doobie after that inning, and he kept motioning with his hand up in the air. It was almost like he said, well, he's just up with everything right now. Little backdoor cutter. You know, the hitter thinks it's outside. Close enough for strike 3. Swing the bats. And Rich Doobie really didn't even go in and talk to Roy. You know, he figured they'll get it straightened out.
Barrett takes a breaking ball for a strike. There's a fly ball to right. That one's pretty well hit. Montañez got turned around. It's off the base of the wall. And it means that Barrett will be at second with a stand-up double. Just the second hit since the second inning given up by Halladay.
Hey, get a beer, cold beer. Cold beer. Peanuts, bottled water, folks.
And Rich Doobie's going out to the mound, and that might be it for him. We said that Antonio Bastardo was warming up in the pen. Now, this probably depends on Halladay and whether he wants to stay in there. A lot of times Doobie will go out there and just let him know what his pitch count is at this point. And he's looked pretty comfortable. Yeah, they're going to keep him out there.
You know, he knows that he just threw a wind-blown double right there. That ball went hit very hard, and the wind took it all the way to the wall. So, you know, I think he's thinking, you know, you can really, after being around Halladay for so long, you can almost get in his head. You know, he's thinking, I want to get out of this. That was a high sinker, and you could see the ball was hit high in the air. The ball is really flying to right field. There's the bullpen ready.
Bastardo Contreras may pitch today, too. There's Jose Contreras with Jesus Tiamo and Mick Billmeyer. Ronnie Paulino takes a breaking ball inside. It's 1-0.
Where do you think his pitch count is right now?
Well, he was at 75 pitches coming into this inning.
Okay.
And he's at 87. Orioles also have bullpen action. Left-hander warming up. There's a looper to center field. That'll drop in for a base hit. DeMarlo Hale will hold. Bearer at third. He held up thinking the ball might be caught. And now runners on first and third with 1 out.
Now it's out of Halladay's hands. That's the end of it.
Well, he wanted to try to get that last batter, righty against righty. And now it'll be Antonio Bastardo who will come on to face Manny Machado. So Rich Doobie's out to the mound. He's already made the signal to the pen. That's it for Doc. Pretty efficient. 6 1/3 this afternoon. 9 strikeouts for Halladay. So he follows up his last outing against the Orioles with another solid outing here this afternoon. Antonio Bastardo coming into the ball game, for the Phillies when we get back. Well, this was kind of an entertaining watch today for Roy Halladay. I mean, just the way he was able to bounce back after the second inning when he allowed the 2 runs to pick up 9 strikeouts and 6 in the third. Now he leaves it for the bullpen. And, you know, Antonio Bastardo, who hasn't worked in the last few days, he's been battling some dehydration. His velocity hasn't been where it needs to be. He's lost some weight. And he'll come into his 6th ball game. 3 strikeouts in 5 innings, and he'll face Manny Machado. The Orioles have a new runner over at first base. Johnny Rudiger will come on to pinch run for Ronnie Paulino. They have runners on first and third with 1 man down. There's Rudiger being held on by Kennelly. And Machado takes a breaking ball for strike. It's 0-1. Sounds strange, Wheels, but this could be the way the Phillies will shape up the back of the bullpen late in the game. Bastardo, Contreras, and then Papelbon.
Qualls is going to fit in there somewhere, probably, you would think.
Sure. But these three are scheduled to pitch today.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see what they do, you know, where they start out with matchups, whether they have assigned roles. Bullpens normally have assigned roles, or they want to have them, the guys out there. You know, they're really creatures of habit. There gets to a certain point of the game when, you know, the adrenaline starts to pump a little bit for bullpen guys, because they think, okay, starter starts to get a little bit of trouble. They want to make a move. It's going to be me. Start thinking ahead what matchups there could be, who the potential guys are on the bench.
Ball is rocketed.
Man.
DeMarlo Hell was the third base coach for the Red Sox for a number of years before he went into the dugout as the bench coach for Terry Francona.
Your buddy almost got nailed.
He's got to get his hops back over there.
Whoa.
There's DeMarlo.
He's got to slow his heart rate down.
That guy is going to be a heck of a major league manager one day.
Yeah, you would think he would get some interviews and get hired sooner or later.
There's a lot of good coaches around the league that are on the doorstep. Phillies have a couple too.
Yeah, Pete McCann got interviewed for 2 jobs last year.
And a call, strike 3, right on the inside part of the plate. 2 outs.
They did a good job there. You know, pitching away with some, or pitching with some breaking balls, and then snuck a fastball by him right on the inside corner. Really good job by Carlos Ruiz to work Bastardo there, and for Antonio to throw it right where he wanted to.
Well, now with 2 away, Matt Antonelli will be the batter for the Orioles. This is the leadoff spot in the order for Baltimore. It's the first at bat of the day for Antonelli.
Ice ball 11-8.
And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Antonelli's a former top pick, out by the Orioles. Swinging a foul tip. It's 0-2.
Famous pitcher, Major League Baseball, for the Giants. One time named Johnny Antonelli. He was really good. Then you had what, Joe as their manager?
I don't think he's related to either one.
Nope.
0-2 the count to Antonelli. And a throw over to first base. Antonelli was selected in the first round by the Padres in 2006. Wasn't it the next year that they selected Matt Bush, the young kid who was involved in the accident down near Port Charlotte and pitching for the Tampa Bay Rays? Antonelli got up to AAA last year.
Good baseball name.
Well, Ruiz keeps that around the plate, keeps the runner at third and even the runner at first.
There's a real good veteran catcher named Carlos Ruiz. You want to throw a breaking ball there if you can in the dirt. You don't want it to be a strike, and the pitcher has to trust the catcher to block it, and the catcher has to think, I can block it, so I'm going to call it. Because you got a runner at third. We tie the game up on a wild pitch. He calls it and he blocks it.
And particularly with a guy like Bastardo who can throw them in the dirt. That's what he wants to get the hitters to go after.
Well, yeah,
sometimes.
you don't want to throw a strike.
Fastball upstairs, 2-2 the count.
0-2 pitches are supposed to be non-strikes for the most part. They're supposed to, you get ahead in the count. There's reasons why guys hit under 200 when they have 2 strikes on them, because they're antsy. So you throw it out of the strike zone and trust your catcher to block it.
Phillies are up 3-2 here. They're tied 2-2 in Lakeland against the Tigers. Swing and a miss. He got him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Bastardo. He gets Machado, and then he gets Antonelli to leave a couple runners on base. It's a pretty good pitching to start the inning by Roy Halladay, and then Antonio Bastardo comes on to finish up the 7th. It's time to stretch here at Clearwater. Hey, reminder fans, the tickets for the 2012 Phillies games at Citizens Bank Park are available for most every game. Now, a couple that you might want to make note of. Thursday, April 12th, the Phillies take on the Florida Marlins. That's a 7:05 ball game. And then Monday, the 30th of April, a 7:05 game against the Chicago Cubs. That finishes up that 4-game series against the Cubs. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets today, but don't delay. Those are the 2 Hatfield Dollar Dog Nights that start the year. Get to see Smiley be at the ballpark with the Fanatic. Phillies are up 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Some changes for the Orioles. It includes the pitcher and catcher. Troy Patton, the lefty, is the new pitcher. And he delivers the first pitch to Rollins upstairs. It's 1-0. Brian Ward is the new catcher for Baltimore. Rollins today is 1 for 3. 2-0 the count. See Patton's numbers this spring. Last year, Patton, who is 26 years old, pitched in 20 games for the Orioles. Three balls and no strikes the count. It's interesting, some of these American League teams that come in, you feel like you're on top of every player during the course of a year, but there's some guys like, let's say, Patton. He pitched in 20 games last year, but we don't see the American League that often, so you don't remember that.
No, the one thing about facing all these American League teams in spring training is you're going to play some of them during the regular season this year. Tampa, Boston, these guys.
Twins.
In Minnesota. Good. That's good. Jays. And you do have, a little bit of a feel for them when you see them, because it's only 2-3 months into the season where they don't have wholesale changes.
Here's Hector Luna. He came on to play third a couple innings ago for the Phillies, up for the first time. Placido Polanco had an RBI single, a run scored, and a walk today, and looked pretty good swinging the bat.
One of the few National League teams we see, thankfully, the Pirates. We see them first games of the season this year.
2 on-deck games which there are tickets still available for. And then the Phillies open up in Pittsburgh. It'll be Eric Bedard, the former Oriole left-hander, pitching for the Pirates against Roy Halladay, making his 10th consecutive opening day start. 1 ball and 1 strike to count.
Always love to hear what the starters say after they have these spring training outings. And you know, it looked like Roy got into a really good groove at one point today after being up a little bit with some stuff in the second inning, maybe a little off mark, off location with his pitches, and he's always so honest about his outings too.
His command was brilliant as the game moved on.
As it moved on, yeah.
See Luna's numbers this spring. He's had a decent spring at 265 with a couple home runs. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count to him.
He had his pitch to hit there, shaking his head. He pulls almost everything. And this guy's pitching inside a lot too. He'd be the kind of guy that Hector right now might, even though he has 2 strikes, he looks like that kind of guy that'll guess, maybe really open up and look for one in there.
There's Jeff Larish, who's over at first base now for the Orioles. He was in Phillies camp last year. To left field. Misjudged for a moment, but the catch is made for the first out.
A correction on the pitcher for the Orioles. The pitcher is number 40, Troy Patton.
The new left fielder is Trent Mummy, who's out there.
First baseman Tim Kennelly.
So now 1 away, and Tim Kennelly took over for Jim Thome. Jim today, 2-run double, got involved in a rundown.
Yeah.
Still had the exuberance of a 12-year-old when he was talking to Murph.
He looked like, oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
Because he looked like he was having fun out there today.
That's what he said. Nice play by Larish as Rollins is chased back.
You know, DHing is DHing, but there he almost had to do it at some point in his career to Jim Thome. But a lot of guys don't like to do it because they miss being out in the field.
Look at Pat Burrell when he went to Tampa.
Really struggled with it.
Outside, they throw behind Rollins. Pretty good arm by Ward. Well, Wheels, if you didn't get all the changes, here they are.
Thanks, I did.
Machado is the only infielder that's still in the game. In fact, he's the only starter that's still in the ball game. Mummy's in left, Rudiger's in center, Flaherty's in right.
These can turn into AAA, AA games at any moment.
That was a strike, and it's 1-1. And part of that is even more so today for the Phillies because they have the split squad going on in Detroit where they're tied at 2. And that game is in the 7th. Joe Sabry's in for the Phillies. Swing and a miss. Rollins delayed steal. The throw offline, and Rollins is safe at second. That was as delayed a steal as you're going to see.
Yeah, he really fooled the catcher. See right there, just bouncing, and then just decides to go. A little late covering. Catcher was not in position to throw because he didn't think he was going to throw.
He was trying to get an insurance run out there at second. Kennelly takes inside, 2-2.
Does this guy pitch inside? Looked like Luna was trying to look in there a little bit, but he got jammed, even though he was opening up.
Check swing. That was self-defense. They look the runner back at second. Now there are 2 outs.
There's some left-handers you watch him pitch, they won't throw 3 pitches inside. This guy, everything is on their thumbs.
And I think for Kennelly, he got called. There was a called strike on a pitch like that earlier in the at-bat, so he wasn't sure if he should let it go by.
Well, it looks like he cuts everything.
So now 2 outs. Here's Mayberry. Mayberry today 0 for 3. Pop out to short to second, a fielder's choice.
Well, you're right-handed hitter watching this. You go up there and just open up and look in there.
We're going to try the outside part now. So no balls and 1 strike to Mayberry. Murph, you got a chance to talk to Mayberry earlier today, didn't you?
I did. You know, interesting. You know, batting in the 4th spot today. I keep getting asked the question, you know, who's one of the guys that's going to have to step up as Howard and Utley work their way back from injury? And I think the answer is Mayberry. John Mayberry Jr. getting a chance to back clean up today. So I asked him about that. He said, you know what, same approach for me. And I know you and Sarge were talking about his confidence level. Very high right now for Mayberry. You know what he said? The best thing he said, I think, was he said, you know what, I have so many expectations and I put so much pressure on myself that no matter what happens, what anybody else is saying out there, you know, if I just do what I want to do, I think everybody's going to be happy, and that's what they need from him this year.
Yeah, and I know Charlie has talked about, you know, Murph, just the fact that he's going to get a chance to play every day, whether it be in left field or at first base, and I think there's sort of a relaxation part of that going into spring when you know that you have a chance to do that.
I think that's very true. You know, for years he's been, you know, fighting for a job this time of the year, and it's pretty certain, obviously, that he's going to be part of this team as they head north. Now it's a matter of doing what he needs to do as he hits a deep, well, relatively deep ball to center field there.
Ooh. Boy, I'll tell you what, the center fielder had to battle the sun to make that catch. So the Phillies leave one in scoring position here in the 7th. So no runs, no hits, 1 man left. Go to the 8th. Phillies up by 1. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch. Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Oh, a very pleasant day here in Clearwater as the Phillies are on top 3-2. They have a new shortstop. Troy Hanzawa takes over for Jimmy Rollins. So Hanzawa will bat in the leadoff spot. Jose Contreras is the new pitcher for the Phillies. Actually, Hanzawa could bat in the number 9 spot. We'll find out what the change is. Contreras, this is his 3rd game this spring as he tries to keep coming back from off-season elbow surgery. And so far 5 hits in an inning and a 1/3. His velocity's been okay. It's just that the location at times has been up a little bit. He gave up a lot of the runs in his first outing in Dunedin against the Blue Jays, but it was just good to see him back out there. Ryan Flaherty lead it off for the Orioles here in the 8th. And then Flaherty takes a strike. It's 0-1. I don't want to say it's a surprise that Contreras is where he is right now, but I'm not sure if anybody really knew when he'd be ready to come back.
Right. Nobody would have been surprised if he started the season on the DL.
And who knows? He may have to spend some extra time just getting his arm strength up. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
I want to see him be able to throw that split and the slider. You know, his fastball's good. Always was. He just like, you know, watching him, seen him for a while. I forget how he always likes to take that split grip.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Good one. Flaherty's down on strikes. That's 12 strikeouts today for Phillies pitching. Rich Doobie's going to chart that. He's going to like that.
Right. You see, want that ball down. I thought it was a split watching on the replay. It may have been a slider. Yeah, the way it came hard in.
Steve Tollefson will be the next batter for the Orioles against Contreras. Tollefson with an RBI so far this spring. And he hits that one off the end of the bat. It'll be a base hit to left. So he's aboard with one out here in the 8th. By the way, just an update what's going on in Lakeland. The Phillies now trail it 5-2. The game is in the bottom of the 7th inning. Tyler Collins, Wheels, has hit a home run. 3-run shot for the Tigers off Joe Savory.
Well, they hit a lot of homers, Tom. Don't know much about Tyler Collins.
Jeff Larish is the batter. Runner goes. Larish takes low. Ruiz's throw is also low. And a stolen base puts the tying run in scoring position.
Yep, stole that one on Contreras. Carlos Ruiz had no chance.
Larish last year with Lehigh Valley, 13 home runs, 37 runs batted in. We mentioned he was in camp with the Phillies. He's been in the majors 4 times. 3 times with the Tigers, once with the A's. And he takes a strike. It's 1-1. There was a time where the Tigers thought that he would be either the first of all these big bats they have coming through the system or one of the big bats coming through the system. Just never panned out. Swing and miss. 2-2. Well, his location is way better than it was in his first outing against the Blue Jays. Look at that movement.
It didn't look like a split, but I guess it's another slider.
And a call, strike 3. That was a fastball.
That thing caught the outside part of the plate and really froze Larish.
So 2 outs.
Left fielder Trent Mummy.
That might have been a split or a slider.
Yeah, I think it was a slider because it came over the outside part of the plate.
Well, it had good velocity on it too, which is a good sign that his arm strength is getting there. So now 2 away. Trent Mummy is up for the first time. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
Ooh, what a bullpen piece Contreras would be if he could come back and pitch effectively.
Well, because you figure the Phillies have Bastardo and Papelbon to go along with Qualls, and then you add Contreras and Kendrick.
I mean, Contreras is experienced, and he's a back end. He's a guy that can pitch at the back end. He's closed. He's a quality pitcher.
And the other thing too is you add some of the young arms like Stutz, who had a good year last year, possibly coming back again for another year.
Right.
And then Diekman, who's, if he's not with the big club, he's pretty close.
Well, Charlie's looking out there thinking, oh man, I want this guy to be for real, because you can trust Contreras when he's pitching well.
0-2 the count. One just missed. It's 1-2. Strop is warming up in the pen for the Orioles.
Before that weekend that his game started, you had
First name Pedro. Boy, a lot of guys you don't know this time of the year.
would you pronounce the last name? Would it be Strop? That's what I was told.
Yeah, that is certainly not a Latin name.
Papelbon, we know.
Yeah. Carlos Ruiz is going to catch a whole game, maybe, because they may want him to catch Papelbon. You think they would?
The 2-2 pitch in the air to right field. That's hit pretty well. It's going to be over the head of Montañez. This ball game's going to be tied up. Montañez plays it off the wall. The throw to second is not in time, and Mumby has an RBI double, and it's a 3-3 game. The Phillies had some chances to tack on to their lead early on.
Yep.
And now the Orioles.
Contreras got ahead of this guy, Mummy, then went 2-2, and then look, he threw a split and it just hung. Kind of came down and in a little bit to a left-hand hitter, and they love that.
Well, that'll bring Buck Britton to the plate. His first at-bat of the game. And he takes up high. 1 ball and no strikes. Buck Britton is the brother of Zach Britton, who is one of the Orioles prospects, one of their pitchers. Shouldn't even say he's a prospect anymore. He's a major league pitcher. Last year, Buck hit .341 in Frederick and then .282 in Bowie. That's single-A to double-A. Not too shabby for a guy who was a 35th round selection. Out of what school, Wheels, in Texas?
Baylor.
Lubbock Christian University. I say it's Texas. I'm pretty sure it's Texas.
Well, Lubbock has a heck of a chance to be Texas.
Ball's hit to center field. Mayberry is there. And that'll put an end to the top of the 8th inning. However, the Orioles do tie it up on Mummy's RBI double. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Phillies and the Orioles all tied up at 3. PHL 17's most popular and talked about shows is back, Wheels. It's brand new episodes of Dancing on Air for the first time in 25 years. Fresh faces, the latest styles, and today's best music. The new Dancing on Air premieres Saturday, 10 a.m. on PHL 17. We need you to make it happen. See if we get Sarge on Dancing on Air.
My only chance I've ever been on any of those shows was Bandstand. I had no chance.
You have to try out for that?
No. Well, I don't know. It was in the 50s at the arena, right near the arena at 46th and Market is where that show originated.
Oh, Pedro Strop is the new pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. How about the Orioles have 3 different caps going today? They got their spring training cap that Strop is wearing. They got the white front cap, which some of the coaches are wearing in the dugout. As Montañez leads it off here in the bottom of the 8th. And then Buck Showalter has a totally different cap than everybody else. That's the one they're going to wear this year. That's a cool one.
That's an outstanding observation on your part.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, how many people you think would have noticed that?
1-3 on the putout. Ball was hit hard.
By the way, this guy is from Latin America, from the Dominican Republic, from San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic.
St. Christopher.
St. Christopher. I don't know how to pronounce that name.
So one away, and here's Carlos Ruiz. All right, so there's the spring training cap. We just saw the hat with the white front. That's going to be the hat they're going to wear during the season. And then they're also going to wear the one that Buck Showalter's wearing today. 3 different hats.
Nice call.
Somebody didn't look at the list of what they're supposed to wear on this road game.
Or else the minor leaguers are wearing certain hats. Major league guys are wearing, I don't know.
It's like the old Oakland A's. You know, the coaches used to wear the white cap, and the players used to wear the green cap.
You know, I learned more about uniforms from you. I don't know any of that stuff. I could sit in the opening. You're going to learn something every day if you want to in this business, and I do from you about uniforms.
Shallow right field, and Ruiz will be retired. So 2 outs here in the 8th. Flaherty puts it away. And Strop has not thrown many pitches in this 8th. And Brent Cleveland, who is 0 for 3 today, will bat for the 4th time. Outside, 1-0. Well, Cleveland is facing a guy who last year pitched in the major leagues for the Texas Rangers and the Orioles. In 12 games for the Orioles, he had a 0.73 earned run average. Picked up on waivers by the O's.
Been a strikeout guy, too, in his career. Minor league career, 290 strikeouts and 242 innings.
Well, 2009 was his first time up in the big leagues. And that was with Texas.
He was a position player. He became a pitcher.
First 3 years position player?
First 3 years.
1-2 the count to Cleveland. And a swing and a miss, and the Phillies are down in order. Pretty efficient stuff right there by Strop. So that will take us to the 9th inning after the Phillies go down on 9 pitches here at the bottom of the 8th. We're all tied up at 3. Jonathan Papelbon is coming on. Along as Cliff Lee narrates the recap of the 2011 campaign that saw the Phillies win their 5th consecutive NL East title and set the single-season franchise record in wins with 102. Order your copy of Making History, the 2011 Phillies video yearbook by calling 877-GO-PHIL, stopping by the Majestic Clubhouse store, or visiting the shop online spot at Phillies.com. 3-3 the game, top of the ninth.
Your attention, please. Now on the pitch.
Phillies have a new battery. Eric Kratz is in the ball game to catch. And Jonathan Papelbon is in the game to pitch as we go to the top of the ninth. Papelbon, a 1.29 earned run average. 7 games this spring so far. This is number 8.
Catcher Brian Ward.
And he'll face Brian Ward to start things off. In a 3-3 game, Orioles led it 2-0 after 2. Then the Phillies scored 3 in their half of the third. It remained 3-2 until the 8th when the Orioles tied it up with an RBI double. Ball's hit pretty well to left field. Cleveland going back to the warning track, and it stays in the yard thanks to the breeze. Yeah, there's one away. Plus, it didn't look like he got it down in the sweet spot of the bat.
Got in on him a little bit, and the wind did knock it down there. I'm showing those flags this afternoon. Wind's blowing down Route 19 today and keeping the ball in the ballpark to left and left center.
So 1 out, and Johnny Rudiger will hit. He came on a pinch run back in the 7th. Up and away, 1-0. It should be a play for Luna or Hanzawa, and it's Hanzawa, the shortstop, that makes the catch for the second out. Phillies will play the Orioles on June 8th, 9th, and 10th. And that'll be down in Baltimore. Every time the Phillies have gone down to Baltimore, I mean, the crowd is just electric.
And that was back in the days when Phillies didn't have these great teams they have now. Fans would go down there, and, you know, the Phillies were okay, but, you know, they got swept down there one year. They didn't have real good teams. And so many Phillies fans would go down to, well, you know, the vet was still around. You know, the Baltimore ballpark was so perfect. The new retro parks. Fans really love going down there. Baltimore it's a nice city, that Inner Harbor area.
Manny Machado's the hitter. He's 0 for 3. Well, the good thing about, and this is the case for a lot of downtown ballparks, you can stay downtown and walk easily to the park.
Right.
And Machado rips it to left. Cleveland gets to it quickly, and Machado will hold up at first. So the 19-year-old gets the single to left. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Roy Halladay did that a couple different times in today's game. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity HD Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, lightning fast internet, and home phone. Here's Matt Antonelli hitting for the second time. He struck out his last time up. Antonelli's got a little Joe Morgan in him. The way he's elbow popping, it's not the same, but there's a little flick of that elbow as he gets himself set.
Little Joe. He had that wing flap with the best of them.
Yeah, his was, there'd be a breeze when he would do his. One and one the count.
Pound for pound for a number of years in Major League Baseball, there couldn't have been a better player than Joe Morgan. He was unbelievable. 2 most valuable players, consecutive years.
I remember when we were kids, we were trying to do the elbow thing. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, it worked. That's right. I mean, sometimes it just works for a guy.
Quick throw over to first, and Machado is back.
And getting to know Joe, the 1 year he's with the Phillies, and know him really well since then. Well, you could talk the game with Joe. He loved to talk baseball, learn stuff from him.
He's keeping busy now. He's got some car dealerships that he has open in the Bay Area, but he also has a radio show, a syndicated radio show.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, he's playing golf every day.
1 ball, 1 strike the count. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
See, I mean, how good you getting at it? What do you expect? I'm getting real good. Typical Joe. Never lack confidence.
Galvis, Montañez. They're both in the area. It's Montañez who makes the call on the catch, and the inning is over. So Papelbon, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Pretty good top of the 9th for Pap. Now we go to the bottom of the 9th, and the Phillies will try to win it. Phillies have had a couple of games this year where they've won the ball game in their final at bat. They're going to try to do that here in the bottom of the 9th inning. It's a 3-3 game. Wills, it's time now for our WB Nation deliveries of the game, and Roy Halladay provided a number of them.
Roy Halladay had a real solid outing here this afternoon. It looked like he had all his pitches working through his cutter, through sliders, change-ups, curveballs, working the outside corner. There's a good curveball right there from Roy. Change up. Another curveball for a strikeout. Little backdoor cutter looked like on that one. Nice job by Roy Halladay.
Well, Doc finished up with 9 strikeouts this afternoon. And as we begin the bottom of the 9th inning, some changes for the Orioles. They have a new pitcher, a new shortstop as well. The new shortstop is number 88, Carlos Rojas.
Your attention, please. Now playing shortstop for the Orioles.
And the new pitcher is veteran Dana Eveland. This spring, 1-1, a 2.25 earned run average.
Second baseman Freddie Galvis.
Eveland now 28 years old. Acquired from the Los Angeles Dodgers during this offseason. 5 games last year for the Dodgers. He was 3-2. He pitched most of the year in Albuquerque, where he won 12 games. He's been with, all right, here we go. He goes Milwaukee, Arizona, Oakland, Toronto, Pittsburgh, the Dodgers, and now the Orioles.
Getting around.
Sure is. Freddie Galvis takes outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to count.
I wonder if they would play another inning, and the Phillies do have a pitcher available. And somebody's up in the bullpen.
Juan Murillo is up and throwing in the pen for the Phils, number 31 on the roster today. Up high, and it's 2-1.
Freddie Galvis had those flares working today to right center. I mean to right field.
Broke his bat off the glove of Eveland, and it's going to be that kind of day for Freddie. 2 bloops, and then a glance off the glove. He has 3 hits.
3-hit day. Yeah, Eveland misjudges this. He thought it was hit a lot harder than it was. Can't blame him. Quick as those things get back at him. See, he's defending himself. All of a sudden he sees the ball, but he didn't realize it was kind of a humpback liner. and bat was flying at him, a humpback liner, so all those things are a distraction, and he just didn't catch it.
Well, he'll face Eric Kratz here with Galvis over at first. Eric is more of a power hitter. See his numbers this spring, 389 with 2 homers. Whether he's going to square or not, he didn't show it on that throw over to first.
Yeah, it's so hard to figure strategy in these games, but he's more likely to make something happen here probably than the guy who's on deck.
Right, Troy Hanzawa is in the on-deck circle. Opposite way, a base hit. See what Galvis does. He'll hold up at second. Stop sign went up from Juan Samuel. Now Hanzawa can bunt.
Right. See, even if he hits into a double play, people have to wonder, what do I have to do? I just broke another bat in half.
Well, now Sammy is laying down some signs to Hanzawa. And Hector Luna is on deck.
If they have any kind of tricky bunt play on, or just do the standard play.
Hanzawa's numbers combined last year between Clearwater and Reading. Overall a .246 hitter in the minor leagues for his career. He squares, takes it inside and low, 1-0. Third baseman was charging, first baseman was charging, shortstop was going over to cover.
Yeah, they do a rotation play on there.
Ward lays down some signs. Sammy just gave the signs to Hanzawa. Phillies trying to win it here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Make a winner out of Jonathan Papelbon. Pickoff play is on. Ooh, off the helmet of Galvis. That ball went. Look how fast it went out to center field.
Yeah, that's why it's good they make them wear those helmets on the bases now. Orioles catch a break here. This thing could have gone anywhere, but the ball hits him right on the helmet. Oink. And they will bounce off those helmets.
Look how far. I mean, look how easy it was for the center fielder to make that play.
Almost had the infield fly rule.
Corners come in again. 1-0 the count. Hanzawa squares, bunts it. Nice play by Ward. Off balance throw in time. That was a heck of a play.
Yeah, that's the rotation play was on. They decided to gamble there, because if that play isn't on, they're not going to get it out of third.
So 2-6 on the foot out.
By that play is watch the shortstop is moving. He's on his way to cover. Catcher makes a heck of a play. See where the third baseman is, all the way towards home plate, and you put that play on, you leave a lot of room for things to happen, but you also can get the lead runner the way they just did.
Well, Rich Thompson's going to come on a pinch run for Eric Kratz, so more speed on the base pass for the Phillies.
Your attention, please, for the Phillies pitch running at second base, number 21, Rich Thompson.
John Swomey is also on the roster. He could catch for the Phillies. And if we go to the top of the 10th, Kratz being lifted. Kennelly could catch too. First and second, one out. And Luna takes a strike. It's 0-1. Just for a point of reference, Thompson, who's at second base, scored 81 runs last year for Lehigh Valley. That was tops in his league. So he's got some speed. He also stole 48 bases. That was tops in the league. So a ground ball through the hole, and he should score easily. Popped him up. Infield fly roll will probably be called. Not too far into foul territory. 2 outs.
When the ball is right near the line, you'll see the umpire go up with an infield fly rule just in case the thing stays fair.
At that point, there was no way it was a mistake.
No, they didn't even call it.
So Hanzawa's still at first. Thompson's at second. Adam Hamari is the first base umpire, and now Kennelly will be the hitter.
Phillies trying to win it here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Otherwise, we'll go to the 10th, and that'll probably be the last inning.
Yes, it will be.
Kenley today has grounded out the 3rd. So he's 0 for 1. One ball, 2 strikes the count to Kenley here in the bottom of the 9th. Swing and miss. He got him. We go to the 10th. So the Phillies leave a couple out there, including one in scoring position. Evelyn is able to get in and out of trouble. We go to the 10th inning. Time for a little free baseball with the Orioles and the Phillies tied at 3. Three ball game. We go to the top of the 10th inning. It's our 5th extra inning game this spring, our 4th here at home, and our upcoming schedule, the final week of spring training games, looks like this. Against the Red Sox tomorrow here at Bright House Field. Tuesday, the Pirates come to town. Will be on the Comcast Network. Then Thursday, the Tampa Bay Rays are here. It's also on the Comcast Network. Saturday, the 31st, the final home game here at Bright House Field on PHL 17. Then off to Atlanta on Sunday, and then back home at Citizens Bank Park on Monday, April 2nd on Comcast Sportsnet against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's part of the On Deck Series. 2 games of the On Deck Series. Tickets are still available for both of those ball games. So you watch Game 1 on Comcast Sportsnet on Monday, April 2nd. So an extra inning ball game. John Swomby is the new catcher for the Phillies. He'll come on for Eric Kratz. The new pitcher is right-hander Juan Murillo, who has pitched in the big leagues before with the Colorado Rockies and the Minnesota Twins. He did not play last year. He was recovering from arm surgery, but he pitched in Japan back in 2010, pitched in just 7 games. Last pitched in the major leagues in 2009 with the Minnesota Twins. It didn't go well. 3 games, he had an earned run average of 22.
Yep. That'll get you to the motion of Rochester.
He is 29 years old, 28 years old, excuse me. He'll be 29 this November. Phillies picked him up as a minor league free agent last year.
His major league total as far as innings pitched, 10 2/3.
Well, he'll face Ryan Flaherty to start the 10th inning for the Orioles. And a swing and a foul ball, and it's 0-1. Ball got a piece of the home plate umpire, Dan Iasonia. Flaherty's 0 for 1 today.
He's now saying, why'd we play 10?
Orioles have 4 ties this spring. 9, 9, and 4. The Phillies have 2. 0-2 the count.
There's a lot more ties than there used to be because nobody plays more than 10.
Outside and high, 1-2. 3 runs on 10 hits for the Orioles. 3 runs on 9 hits for the Phillies. Well, it's gone by quick. Only a week left of games down here before the on-deck series against the Pirates back home. Fly ball to center field. John Mayberry still out there battling the sun, battling the Seagulls, makes the catch.
Nice play. Oh, that was a tough play. He really couldn't do much to get that out of the sun, you know, to get an angle on it.
There's no clouds.
And it stayed right in it, too. You know, it's what an outfielder wants on a ball like this is to try and get an angle, have it left or right of him, not straight at him like that. And he had just about used up his visibility tolerance at that point where his head was going to get out of there.
So Tollison is the batter. He singled and scored his last time up. Singled and stole second, then scored on a double. Tied the game up. Lays off breaking ball. It's 1-0. Well, cue shot. Kennelly. It almost looked like he was going after it and said, you know what, I better get back and cover first. But he stayed with it and made a nice play as Murillo was there to cover. 3-1 on the putout. 2 outs.
You go that far, you might as well keep going because you're not going to serve any other purpose.
It did look like he was going to putting the brakes on.
Too late.
So now 2 outs.
He's laughing about it, you know, because then that's a really hard play for the second baseman to hit the pitcher as a moving target from that distance.
Here's Laris, who struck out his only time up. He's 0 for 1. Fans are very excited when they heard there was going to be another inning. A lot of times, if they don't announce it, they just end it, then they start to boo a little bit. But they're excited to get one more inning in on a beautiful day.
Learned years ago to make that announcement as opposed to getting the boo on the other announcement.
1-1 the count. Not a bad pitch. Right on the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A roll over to Galvis at second base. He's there, and an easy inning for Murillo. 1, 2, 3. A fly out to center and 2 ground outs. And that'll take us to the bottom of the 10th inning. So Murillo does his job. Phillies have one more chance. The game tied at 3 when we come back at the bottom of the 10th. 3-3 as we go to the bottom of the 10th inning here at Bright House Field. It's a gorgeous day, so we figure we play one more. And the new pitcher for the Orioles is right-hander Stu Pomeranz.
A lot of daylight this time of the year, too. You don't have to worry about lights.
There was a time, though, that a lot of minor league facilities didn't have lights.
Didn't have them. We didn't have them down here. And when Jack Russell had lights, it was like they didn't.
Pomeranz pitched in just 2 games last year in Double-A. The Osprey here at
nice condos
at Bright House Field. They're happy that the lights were installed. Because as Wheels mentioned, they put those condos up there for them,
well,
so
like
they don't perch themselves in the lights.
It's almost like being out on Sand Key when they're up there. You know, it's so beautiful. What a view.
John Mayberry lead it off. It'll be Mayberry then Montañez to start the bottom of the 10th inning.
Sand Key is an area of Clearwater that if you're ever come down here, be sure and take a ride over there and look at it. It's a beautiful island. A lot of us are lucky enough to stay over there, and it is great.
If Pomeranz looks tall, he is. He's 6'7", 220 pounds.
Just going to ask you that.
Yeah,
this guy looks big.
Big guy. You know, he pitched one year for 4 different independent teams before he was signed again by an affiliated team.
This is a time of a lot of these games you come up with some fascinating stories on guys.
This guy in 2009, he pitched in El Paso, independent. New Jersey Cardinals up in North Jersey, that's independent. Texarkana, wow, and Windy City. I have no idea what Windy City is.
Maybe Chicago.
I was thinking that, but
but it's not.
They already have 2 major league teams.
Well, probably somewhere in the Midwest, out in the plains.
1-1 pitch to Mayberry. Down low, 2 balls.
Well,
and 1
you have
strike.
to give him a lot of credit, Tom. That's persistence. You know, to hang in there that long, try and get your shot to pitch in the major leagues.
4 different teams
in 1 year.
Originally the property of the St. Louis Cardinals. 2-1 pitch to Mayberry. Way outside. It's 3-1. Mayberry today is 0 for 4.
You know, for all the guys that get up here and make tons of money, and that's what you hear about, so many stories like this guy, you know, who just try to get to this point. It's so hard.
Yeah, who this year most likely will be one of the minor league teams for the Orioles, whether it be Bowie or Norfolk. Check swing, slow roller. Antonelli is there, and Mayberry's retired. 1 gone here in the 10th.
Frustrating for Mayberry. Now you get a swing. This guy's a little funky on right-handed hitters too. Just the way he sets himself up on the rubber and the way he comes a little 3/4.
Let's go, Sammy.
And at his size.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. With his size. Now left-handers probably a little easier to hit off.
Phillies will have a left-hander come up next after Montañez if he doesn't end the game right here.
So he starts out a little side saddle out there.
No balls and 1 strike the count. Montañez 0 for 3 with a walk. He loops that one to the right side. Larish is there for the 2nd out. So 2 away. And Brandon Tripp will be the hitter for the Phillies. Folks down here in Clearwater, if there are any of the season ticket holders from the Threshers, watched him play last year. 42 games with Clearwater, hit .322.
They saying he's going to pop one now?
He had 5 home runs last year. High water mark, though, Wheels was 19 back in 07 for Del Marvin.
Oh, the wind's blowing out to right.
A single A affiliate for the Orioles, and he takes strike 1. It's 0-1. Former 12th round selection of the Orioles. And he's down to the count 0-2. foul ball. Ward couldn't hold on, so the at-bat continues for Tripp. You doing a little radio today after the game, Wills?
Yes.
John Brazier?
Yes, out there at the Tiki Bar. Ooh, yeah. That'll be exciting.
On WBCB in Bucks County. Foul ball again. It remains 0-2. You guys have any guests lined up for today?
You know, I just kind of leave that up to Brage. He asked me to be a co-host or whatever with him. When I get out there, we'll have some fun with it.
We have our High Hopes post-game show coming up after
We have
this.
that too. We get a busy day, Tom. Had the breakfast before the game today. It's been fun.
Foul ball, and it remains 0-2. Well, the Phillies have these trips that take place during spring training, just as they have trips during the regular season. And they have 3 different trips down here to Clearwater. And the folks come, you know, not only to the games, but also get a chance to see a couple players. Today was Joe Blanton and Kyle Kendrick, and then us broadcasters get a chance to talk to them as well. Although today it was the comedy show put on by Larry Anderson more than anything else.
I just sat there and listened to you two. You know, just tried to be a part of the supporting cast. It was knee slapping, thigh slapping time. I'm sure they appeared to be very entertained. Larry kept going, "Excuse me, I don't remember."
It's almost as if he couldn't hear.
Right. Yeah. Which
he can't out of one ear.
He can't.
Inside 1-2.
And when he says he didn't remember, it's hard to tell whether he's jiving you or telling the truth.
Selective memory.
Oh. I think Sarge going to do one next week.
Comeback player of the year. There's a liner to left field, and that will do it. Tripp makes the final out here in the bottom of the 10th inning, and that will finish up this afternoon's game. So Charlie Manuel's team will settle for another tie. It's their 3rd tie of the spring. They had a 2-0 deficit that they had to work out of, and then they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd to take a 3-2 lead. And then the Orioles tied it up in the 8th with a run, and then Charlie decided to take some photos with some youngsters. Little kids that are saying, "Who the heck is that guy?" Down on the field, Rich Dubie's with Greg Murphy. Murph, take it away.
All right, thank you very much. D-Mac here with Rich Dubie. I got a chance to see Roy Halladay. He'll probably get one more start, I guess, in the spring. What did you see from him today?
Oh, he's fine. He's just missing a couple pitches. Just certain locations that he's not able to get to as consistent as we want to. But arm-wise and stuff-wise, I thought he was very good today.
And that Antonio Bastardo came out, pitched very well. You got a chance, I guess, to see kind of how maybe the bullpen will set up later in the season.
Well, we'll get closer into that as we get going here the last week or so. But I wanted to get Antonio out there. He's had some time off. So he threw the ball fine and looks healthy.
All right, thanks a lot, Rich. We appreciate it. Rich Dubie, guys, back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Dubes got a chance to see his starter go deep into a ball game. That was pretty impressive. The Phillies settled for a 3-3 tie. They're cleaning up the berm and heading home. We'll head it to that Tiki Bar. We'll be back after this.
I think it's going to be on Tuesday.